What is up, everybody? J Nail here with my UFC 226 prediction video. First off, happy 4th of July. I've already started celebrating the festivities, so I apologize in advance. And we're gonna get through this. Okay. Please look out for my Twitter and Instagram for my 15, 20-second, 30-second predictions, because I will have them on the Tough Enough finale and on the prelims. But right now, main card only, because I think that's all we can handle. All right. First up, I'm choosing Khalil Roundtree Jr. to beat Gohan Saki. I'm kind of iffy on that pick. I think that could be a very good fight, good way to start off the card, so we'll see you on that, but I am picking Khalil. Next up, I am choosing Michael Chiesa to beat Anthony Pettis. We shall see. Now, I am also choosing Francis Ngannou to beat Derek Lewis. I am hoping that this man has worked on his wrestling and found himself a jab. That's pretty much all he was missing. We know that he wasn't working on the wrestling because he didn't like it. Well, it's too bad you don't like it. You are an MMA fighter. You're not a boxer. You have to be well-rounded. So I am hoping he has worked on his wrestling, or at least some serious takedown defense. Get yourself some, like I said in my last video about him, Chuck Liddell style takedown defense. Get yourself a jab and he would run through that division. We'll see if he's done it. I am choosing Francis Ngannou. Now, co-main event, I can't tell you how excited I am for this fight. I can't tell you how much I like both fighters. Let's talk about it. We are having the UFC featherweight champion, Mr. Max Blessed Holloway, take on Brian T. City Ortega. Let's talk about it first. Brian T. City Ortega. He's a true example of the artistry in MMA. He is a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu student. He is a beautiful tactician with Jiu-Jitsu we've never seen before, quite frankly. His eye for making adjustments within the fight, the Cub Swanson victory, getting the stand and guillotine, making the adjustments in the fight. We're seeing he's well-rounded. We see his hands are coming along with knocking out Frankie Edgar for the first time. The first uppercut missed. He stood back, he eyes open, measured it, and then clocked him again and knocked him out. This is someone who's ever improving. I don't think we've seen the best of Brian Ortega at all. He has the mindset for him. He lives this. He's a teacher at the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy. He's a huge featherweight. You saw the Frankie Edgar fight. He looked like two different fighters from two different weight classes, quite frankly. So he's been much bigger than his competition until now. Let's talk about Max Blessed Holloway, the champion. I believe a 12-fight winning streak. I believe he has not lost in 5 years. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I've already started celebrating. But he is 2 inches taller than Brian Ortega, even though they do have the same reach, actually. But he is 2 inches taller, and I do believe they're going to be around the same size. So that size advantage that Brian's had, he's not going to have against Max. Max, I'm not sure the degree he has in the jiu-jitsu, but he has submission victories. We know he is good on the ground. We know he has good takedown defense. We know he can pop back up. We know he's strong on the ground. However, his realm is the stand-up game. He is the true hybrid MMA boxer hybrid, MMA striking boxer hybrid. He has the boxing footwork. He glides. He has these long combinations with like 7, 8, 9 shots, including the feet, the hands, the knees, all of that. He worked great in space, angles, head movement, all of that. He has the best boxing in the entire division. I'm sure of that. Max Holloway has the best boxing in the entire division. So I believe his game is to keep this in space standing. The dirty boxing is where I'm like, who's going to be stronger in the dirty boxing? I'm actually not quite sure. Who's going to be more innovative? Who's going to be able to make decisions on the fly, read the fight, see the eyes? Who's going to have the better game plan? Who's going to have the better corner? This is a true chess match, y'all. And I'm like geeking out on this fight. I'm so excited. I have no idea who's going to win. I have no idea how it's going to go. 5 rounds, 5 minutes, 1 minute, submission, knockout, cumulative damage, TKO. Who knows? Ref stops. Who knows? Who knows? We could see everything. Max is ever improving. We see different things from him. Again, best boxing in the division, has good enough ground game. He's got submission victories. Although the ground game belongs to Brian Ortega, I do believe Max's best path to victory is to keep this standing and keep this in space. But again, I have no idea who's going to win this fight. I'm gonna kiss Max Holloway. I think I'm gonna stick with the champ here. Has enough takedown defense to keep himself off of the ground. Oh, you know what? With the fact that Brian Ortega is able to get submissions on the feet, he seems to have a good chin. But max cumulative damage, will he get? This is so difficult. I expect to see an incredible fight with oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna go with a safe pick and pick Max Holloway, the champ, and that's just because of where I'm going with the main event here, but stay tuned. I might change that by the time I get done with this video. Let's go into the main event, and we're seeing the UFC heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic take on the UFC light heavyweight champion DC Daniel Cormier, and this is a super fight. They both pretty much gone through their divisions. DC has proven, although other than John Jones, where you know there's a big old asterisk next to those losses, you know, he's pretty much beat everybody, all the top guys. The light heavyweight division is kind of shallow, so the heavyweight division, it's time for this. I'm excited for this. Let's go. Now, let's talk about it. Let's talk about, I call him the challenger. They're both champions, but he's the lighter man. So let's talk about DC first. Of course, he's Olympic captain as far as wrestling, just off the podium, 4th place. He has meshed in the MMA wrestling, the ground and pound. He's mixed in the submissions. He's got some nice hands. He's a smaller heavyweight. He's fought a heavyweight before, and I think that's key. He's fought a heavyweight in Strikeforce, won the heavyweight Grand Prix, and he hasn't lost as a heavyweight. So he has dealt with men bigger than him before, not just once or twice, but many times. I think, again, that is key. He has that wrestling strength, that Olympic caliber wrestling strength, that fundamental strength that you only see with that wrestling training. You don't see it duplicated in any other art form. That fundamental strength on the ground. I do believe he'll be better on the ground, even though he'll be much smaller than Stipe Miocic. He says he plans on coming into the fight about 235. I think Stipe is going to come in about 250. He's also much taller, a much bigger man, and still I think Daniel will have the advantage on the ground. I do. I think he'll be stronger just because of his caliber of wrestling. Now, the hands, keeping this in the feet. Of course, he's got the reach disadvantage. Of course, he's got the size disadvantage. Stipe, let's talk about the champ now. Stipe, he's very well-rounded. Division 1, I believe, ranked wrestler in college. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. I probably got it kind of mixed there. So ranked though, nationally ranked, baseball player in college. He's one of those natural athletes, man. He's one of those peas. He probably if he picked up a basketball and dedicated himself, he'd probably be pretty good at basketball too. You know what I mean? Just natural athlete there. And I think that is the reason why we've seen one of his biggest advantages over the other heavyweights is his movement. He moves better than all them other heavyweights, man. Especially on the feet. He does. The way he knocked out Verdum, backpedaling off his back foot. His timing, his angles, he's quicker than he seems. He's much stronger than he seems, although he's a big guy. He looks like he can knock you out, and he can't one-punch knockout with both of these men. One-punch knockout capability with both of these men. Although I don't think we'll see it with DC. I think he'll have to have cumulative damage. I think he needs to do enough to have Stipe worry about his hands enough to bait him into the wrestling or the dirty boxing. We've seen with DC that he's quite good at the dirty boxing, holding the head with the uppercuts, pushing up against the fence, wearing on him, making him carry his weight, and I think that's what he's going to have to do for his path to victory. I don't see DC finishing this in the first, second, third round. I may not even see him finishing this at all. He might win this on points if he wins this at all, but I see him having to wear on Stipe, have him carry his weight, close the distance, get inside, and again, dirty boxing, pressing up against the cage, wear him down, and then maybe try to take him down later on, ground and pound, or if your hands start going, if you're quicker, because I think DC might actually have quicker hands. He might be quicker. So we'll see what happens. Again, this is an uphill battle for DC. I'm pretty sure he's the underdog. I see why. If Stipe can keep this standing and in space, if he can work that range, he's not really a rangy fighter, but I think he has such a range advantage over DC that the way he fights, he won't be able to he'll just have that advantage. Plus, Stipe is a smart fighter. He makes his adjustments during the fight. He has good game plans. He has a good camp. So I think he will try to keep this on the fan, keep this on the feet, and keep this in distance, which will be his best path to victory. So we'll see if DC is able to close the distance, get inside, get a hold of him. And again, don't try to take him down right away. Work him with your dirty boxing. Let's see if you can work that body, work the whole body, break him down, carry the weight, wear him out, drag him in, and then maybe try to go for a finish or maybe win by points. We shall see. Uphill battle. And I'm picking DC. And I'm picking DC. I like the drama. You know me, I'm a sucker for the story. I like both fighters, especially lately as far as DC. I've told you, if you've been paying attention, I've really come around to DC. So I like both fighters, but it's a better story if DC wins. Come on. First off, he can win both belts. Stipe can't win DC's belt. So that's a big one right there. So it's a bigger story. The little man beating the bigger man, getting both belts, second man in history, 2-division champion. What's he gonna do next? Fight Brock Lesnar? Will John Jones come back? It's just more drama, more story. It's more entertaining. He's better on the mic than Stipe. It's just entertainment value. All of those things are the reason why I'm picking DC. It's just simply a better story. Yeah, but I won't be surprised if Stipe wins. Let me make that clear. And because I'm taking the risk on DC for my main event, that's the reason why I'm staying safe with my Max, because Max Holloway. You know what? We're taking 2 risks. Changing my co-main event pick. I'm choosing Brian T. City Ortega. Or no, we're staying the same. We're staying the same. We'll just take the loss if we don't lose, because I don't know who's going to win that fight. We'll just take the loss. Safe pick. Sticking with the champ, Max Bless Holloway, and picking DC, Daniel Cormier. Now tell me your picks, your injury updates, or anything like that. Tell me why. Tell me your prelim picks. Again, watch out for my Twitter and Instagram for 15-second picks on the prelims and on the Tough Enough finale on Friday. Thank you for bearing with me through this. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe, like. I'm on Snapchat now. Talk to me. Take care. And goodbye. Happy 4th of July.